if your mother come by.
Good evening. 1.01, call to order. 1.02, if everyone would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started tonight, we've had a major tragedy in Texas, and I want to recognize Texas this evening. So if we could just do a moment of silence to support the families and the children and the community that's lost what they've lost yesterday is tragic. Thank you. 1.03, adoption of the agenda. It is recommended that the agenda for May 25th, 2022, regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be adopted as presented.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 2, recognition. 2.01, recognition of retirees. Mr. Barker.
Thank you, President Barks. Tonight we are excited to recognize and honor our school city of Mishawaka retirees. These are individuals who've been incredibly dedicated in different roles throughout our district, and we're so thankful for their service to kids, regardless of their roles, their service to their fellow colleagues. We've been truly blessed by this group of people, and it was fun tonight to spend time with all of them and all of you for the reception before the meeting. So tonight I've asked Ms. Pettit to read the names of those that are here with us, and at that time President Parks and I will present awards to them and pose for individual pictures before we call the next name. But thank you, Ms. Pettit.
We're going to start with those with us or those not with us tonight?
Why don't you start with those not with us?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'd like to honor these retirees that couldn't join us tonight. With 3 years with us, Robert Baker. He was a truck driver and mail courier for the administration center. 8 years, his wife, Mary Jo Baker, cafeteria manager at Hums. Amy Bailey, 18 years, bus aide for the transportation department. Elizabeth Johnson, 21 years, food service at Twin Branch. Tony Desimoni, 21 years, custodian at the Ad Center and Services Building. Catherine Brubaker, 22 years, speech pathologist at Emmons Elementary School. Lisa Hab, 25 years, administrative assistant for food service. Lori Bresky, 29 years, food service employee at Mishawaka High School. Kent Litweiler, 30 years, PE teacher at Emmons Elementary. So. So I'm going to start with 10 and a half years for Cheryl Davis. Cheryl, she was a custodian at John Young Middle School for us.
I love the look. Thank you.
And 11 years as our purchasing agent right here at the Administrative Center, Dina Squadroni. 13 years, our program supervisor at the Children's Campus at Oakland, Patty Morris. And for 15 years, he was a science teacher at Mishawaka High School, Michael McGuire. "23 years of service, world language, U.S. history teacher at Mishawaka High School, Kathy Zeiger. And our information service technician at the Administrative Center for 23 years, Bruce Hojnacki. And our last honoree this evening, 32 years with School City of Mishawaka. She finished it as kindergarten teacher at Holmes Elementary School, Alice Eckert.
I'm very excited for all of you. Thank you for all your years of service and everything that you've given back to School City of Mishawaka, and you will be missed in your presence. Moving on to 2.02, 2022, Michiana 40 under 40, Mr. Barker.
Thank you, President Parks. As probably most of you know, Michiana 40 under 40 shines the spotlight on 40 of the region's most talented and dedicated young executives, leaders, professionals, employees, and adults who demonstrate career success and community engagement, all before the age of 40. And tonight, we are excited to announce that School City of Mishawaka's very own Ben Modlin has been selected as one of the 2022 honorees. So I think Ben is here, and we'll recognize him a couple times tonight. But congratulations, Ben, on that.
Ben, would you like to come to the podium?
I guess. My brother has a saying, don't give Ben a mic. So.
Notice it's turned off.
Well, I was very honored to get this 40 under 40 award. I guess it's in recognition for what we're doing in the community with School City, with our students, and the staff that we have. I got into teaching. I've got a family full of teachers, and I guess it's kind of my passion is kind of what we Modlins do. And I developed my passion for teaching through the scouting, through my years as a camp counselor. And it's kind of evolved. I went into to change lives, and now it's doing that and saving lives with our students as well. And so it's helping them figure out, hey, this is where I can go. I'm valued, I'm loved, and I can move on, and I can be successful. So it's an honor. It's nice that somebody's looking in from the outside at us, and Go us. Go.
Congratulations. .03 School City of Mishawaka 2022 Teacher of the Year, Mr. Barker.
Thank you. I love board meetings like this where we can just recognize our people. So tonight, School City of Mishawaka follows the model adopted by the Indiana Department of Education in recognizing an elementary and secondary Teacher of the Year. They will be in contention now for the State of Indiana Teacher of the Year, and both of these teachers are highly involved in their respective schools and are admired by their peers for their dedication to the profession. We honored them, I don't know, maybe it was a couple weeks ago by surprising them in their schools, but tonight we'd like to honor these two individuals in our school board meeting. And our elementary Teacher of the Year is Ms. Angelina Lazovich, who is a 6th grade teacher at Beeger Elementary.
Good evening. If you would have asked me before I started my teaching career if I could ever see myself teaching 6th grade, I would have said absolutely not. However, when given the opportunity to work in School City, where I dreamed of working ever since I had a college field placement at Beeger, I decided to take the leap. Now I cannot see myself teaching anything else. I've been blessed with amazing students and families during my time at Beeger. In fact, on the day the award was announced, my student said, "Miss Laz, if you're Teacher of the Year, that means we're Students of the Year, right?" They then proceeded to thank anyone who came to offer congratulations all day long. Well, they definitely are Students of the Year in my heart, and I'm so grateful to be able to do what I love each day. I would also like to thank my extraordinary teammates and Beeger family who helped me to grow not only as an educator, but a person each day. Finally, huge thanks go to my principals and all of our administrators who bend over backwards to do what is best for students and staff each day and make this a truly great place to teach. Thank you all.
Congratulations, Angelina. And our secondary Teacher of the Year, Mr. Ben Modlin, who is an engineering and technology teacher and engineering department chair at Mishawaka High School. Mr. Modlin.
So you guys are giving me the mic twice in a night. All right. Again, very humbled with this, and I obviously couldn't be where I am without the loving and support of my family, with my wife. I've got my 2 kids here. They're in the back. They wanted to watch on their Chromebook. But obviously, I couldn't be where I'm at without the support of the administration, the principals, my colleagues, and my family and friends as well. So it really is. It does take a village to raise a kid, and I'm a product of this village, and it's just a pleasure to give back and to move forward with that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ben, if you and Angelina can come back up, we have the Lions Club here. We have Dave and Becky. If you'll come to the podium, please.
Well, I guess if I stand here, Ben doesn't get the microphone. But on behalf of the members of, awkward to talk with you.
Angelina and I were just discussing that.
Yeah. On behalf of the members of the Mishawaka Lions Club, we're delighted and honored to be here this evening to share with you our pleasure at meeting you, and to also give you a gift from the Mishawaka Lions Club. We have for each of you a certificate and a check for $500 for you to use as you wish. So thank you very much for your service, and we look forward to maybe doing this again another year with you too. Thank you.
If you guys would like to take a picture, Jen would take your picture for the 4 of you. Congratulations. .04 Indiana Association of School Principals, IASP, names Mrs. Courtney Kozick, District 2 Principal of the Year, Mr. Barker.
Thank you again, President Parks. So on Friday, I received the exciting news, and I'm excited to announce to you tonight, and certainly proud of Mrs. Courtney Kozick as the IESP District 2 Principal of the Year, as chosen by her colleagues. I think it's always a prestigious honor when you're chosen by your colleagues for any kind of recognition, and moreover, this only confirms what all of us already know at School City of Mishawaka, that we are blessed with a great leader in Mrs. Kozick. She is a strong, enthusiastic leader who owns everything in her building, and just is a phenomenal leader for us. And so it's exciting for us that she has been named District Principal of the Year, and she will be honored at the State Principals Association Fall Conference in November. So congratulations, Mrs. Kozick.
Thank you so much. I didn't prepare something like my great teacher over there, Angelina Lazovich, but I was honored by the nomination, so thank you, and shocked, some of us were there for it, by the recognition. I am truly humbled to represent Mishawaka schools in this way. You know, you're only as great as the people you surround yourself, and I am truly blessed with a phenomenal team and the whole building. They make it much easier. Obviously, my family, because we miss a lot, and my husband is so supportive. So I am just blessed beyond words to represent you. So thank you.
Congratulations, Courtney. 2.05, recognition of the MHS FRC robotics team, Miss Fett. Oh my goodness. Cassette. Sorry.
Do you have the video? Do you have the video? Oh, that's it. All right. You want to play that first, if you will? Perfect.
Yesterday, our robotics team, Giddy Goats, left for competitions at Jefferson High School. They'll be gone until tomorrow. Before they left, I interviewed them for this season.
From Mishawaka High School, it's the Giddy Goats.
This year's game is called Rapid React, and it was chosen by FRC as a transportation game, and it's sponsored by Boeing. And so every year there's a different sponsor that sponsors the major game. Mariah and Adam are our programmers, and Carrie is pretty much our all-around. She does kind of everything for us as far as packing, organizing, and small tasks and build. Christian is our CAD. We have, and the rest of the gentlemen all work in the build side of it.
As captain, it's my job to keep things organized, so I kind of assign jobs and make sure that everyone is staying on task and is doing those jobs.
Basically, my job is to sort out all the electrical components of the robot.
So basically what I do is I help put together the robot, and I normally cut any pieces of metal that need to be cut.
When we got down to Kokomo, we did a great job, and you know, a lot of the kids admitted, as well as me, that we didn't even think we'd have a robot to compete. We ended up 23rd out of 32 teams. And our main issue, where we lost a lot of our points for that, was we had a chain break and we were not able to intake balls.
I think it went pretty well. We had some pretty good teams that we were able to pair up with, and they were able to help kind of coach us through our first game. So for it being our first game, I think it went actually pretty good.
Not only does FRC teach practical skills that will be useful in case of going into fields such as computer science, STEM, really that sort of stuff, but it also teaches things like, you know, teamwork, problem-solving skills, time management, prioritization. It also gives pretty good scholarships, too.
Stay tuned for next week's news for the match results and if they made it into the postseason.
All right. Why don't you guys all come towards the front? Mr. Hodge, you can come too if you want. All right, I am Julie Fassett, and I am the mentor of the 7477 Giddy Goats for Mishawaka High School. And this is about half of my team. I got a couple sick and a couple out. It was quite a journey this year, I have to say. All of our students are juniors. We have 3 juniors, and the rest are all sophomores. And so we were very young, and we were very inexperienced as to what we didn't know. We didn't know what we didn't know. And how to build a robot, programming, electrical, all the hookup, all the, this isn't your Tinker Toy out of the box robot. This is something that we designed and built on our own. So to play a game, as you saw. So it's pretty exciting if you've ever been to a first competition. It takes up the entire gym, and then there's another gym where the pits are, where the robots get repaired and where they're stored and where your toolbox and stuff is. So the journey this year has taken us to build a successful robot that we were very proud of and competed very well in the game, especially for the first year. One of the highlights and some things that some people liked is that our bucket is 3D printed. So at Mishawaka, we have quite a few 3D printers that we used often, and so that was a 56-hour print. But we did build a couple of them, and that was the final one. So that was kind of interesting, and a lot of teams really liked that. We definitely laughed, cried, cheered, and learned. Some more than others. However, after the experience we had, I believe we are more prepared and ready for next year. So very proud of each of these students as I had the opportunity to watch them grow and lead and build and become a team. And as if anybody knows me, I am all about teamwork, and I believe in the power of a team. And these guys came together. I mean, we had overnight trips together, and just listening to them on the bus and the acceptance of everybody, it was just phenomenal. It was a really good time. I calculated, they said it's not high enough, but out of a 4.0, the entire team has a 3.5, which I think is pretty good. It's pretty respectable. Mariah says it's not high enough, so we'll be working on that. Might be doing some tutoring, but I will let them introduce themselves and maybe just run the robot a little bit for you, and they can kind of say what they did on the team and stuff, okay? All right, guys, it's yours.
Hi. My name's Emma. I was the captain of this team this year. This was all of, I don't know if that said it or not, but this was all of our first years doing this. We've all done something called FTC, which I think they came and presented to you a couple of months back. But this was our first year doing something like this, and it was a challenge. It was really fun. I've worked with 4 of the people on my team before, but it was really nice because we got to have all of our old teams come together, and we all got to really get to know each other. And I don't know, it's kind of doing this kind of gives you a support system. It gives you people to meet, it gives you people that have similar interests to you. And then going to competitions is so awesome because you get to meet so many people around the state that do stuff like this, that are into stuff like this. I've actually made quite a few friends this way. I still talk to them, even if it is just through text. Just that I've met down there that they're from Southern Indiana, so I never actually see them or never really talk to them, but I've met them through this way, which is really cool. So yeah, it's just really fun, and I love doing that. So, yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. I just actually launched our brand new website. We did have an old one, but we had an entire team switch, so we don't have access to that, changing that website. So I just launched our brand new website. It's a Google Sites, so I sent it to Fizette, and she can send it out if you guys want that. But yeah.
Hi, I'm Julius Shadway. I'm the co-captain of the team, and robotics has just been a really fun experience overall. We spend a lot of time after school working to build the robot, making sure everything works. We learn how to do a bunch of different things. We've 2 people right now working on welding. Mariah is our programmer. Yeah. And all of us, we all have learned how to use a lot of machinery, power tools. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm Jonathan Walbrook. This year was a complete roller coaster, honestly. I mean, the competitions were really energetic. I don't know what else to say. I'm not really good at this. Probably the bus rides.
The bus ride?
Yeah, the bus rides were amazing. And the fact that we're basically a family.
Oh, that's sweet. Very nice.
Hi, I'm Kay. This was my first year in force, so I didn't really know what to expect. But going into it, I think going into the class was one of the best decisions I've made school-wise. I've made so many friends. I've learned so much about, robotics and engineering, and I honestly think that this is one of the best things I've ever done. So I really don't know much else to say about it.
So one of the things that I like most about robotics is how you can do whatever you want. We joke that I don't know how to use a drill because I just don't enjoy doing that stuff. But I enjoy programming, and because we all work together so much, if you don't know how to do something, you can always learn it or find something else to do on the team. There's so many different roles. It's something you can really enjoy. Should I run it?
Yeah, show them how it works. So the game this year, it's kind of hard to show you exactly the thing, but we shot into a low goal with the 2 balls that are in there, and then there was a hanging aspect at the end. So, Jonathan, you want to show them how the arms go up? So at the end of the game, the 2 arms would hit the low bar, and it would pop up. They would pop up, and then and then the second bar, it would go and it would latch onto, and it would swing a little bit, but when it stopped, it was off the ground. So we got points for that as well. And so it didn't take a motor or anything else. It was just all, it was all physical. So that worked out. So the name of our robot is Gideon. He's Gideon this year. This is Gideon, our goat. So.
How long does it take to build this?
It first gives you 10 weeks to build it after they announce the game. So the game is announced on the first Saturday of January.
Are you going to throw those balls at me? Go the other way.
Knowing Mariah, she probably would. She'd like to chase us around the room with it.
So 10 weeks to build it.
10 weeks to build it, and then it has to play the game that they announce in January. So it's always different. The game always changes every year. Some of your chassis and things remain the same, but you cannot start ahead of time building anything. You have to build it all in that 10 weeks.
So what happens to Gideon after this year?
We will keep it together. So our hope is that if we can acquire some more space, we can keep kind of like a library of our old robots. It's easy to keep the FTC ones because they're small. These are a little bigger. So far we have this one, and then we have Homer, which was 2019's robot was Homer, and we still have Homer in operating condition. So we'll keep them. Sometimes we'll have to scavenge parts off them or something, but we take them to the golf outing for the MEF, and we run them there. We actually have been building a golf robot, so we can shoot golf balls. So, because everyone always asks us when we take it up there. So we will have a golf ball shooting robot at MEF.
Nice.
It'll do a nice little chip shot, so if anybody needs to use that. We didn't build it this size because we didn't want to impale anybody. So it's of the smaller FTC size.
Very nice. Very cool.
So, good?
Oh my God.
Did your heart just drop?
competitions are very loud.
Jonathan, you can turn it off.
I hope that's on video.
That's going on the news,
Yeah. Congratulations, you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you. Absolutely.
All right, we're moving into the regular meeting, so if anybody would like to go, this is the time to run for the door. There goes Corey. He's got trauma. Oh, okay. 3, comments and questions from the floor. 3.01, representatives of Mishawaka Parent Group. 3.02, representatives of school employees. 3.03, representatives of Mishawaka Education. So I do sit on the MEF board as the board representation. So Jane sent me a text this afternoon and said, I need you to do me a favor. So she said, talk about the June 6th luncheon made in Mishawaka. It is in full bloom. I hope to see everyone there. There will, for the celebrations, call Jane Wright for last minute reservations. Then we have the Chip In for Education on July 11th, and the foursomes can be made online at the MEF website, Fun in the Sun. Finally, the MEF congrats all retirees and School City of Mishawaka staff for an amazing year, and thank you, MEF. So that was Jane's message to all. 3.04, general public. There's no one to sign, and so we will move on. 4, consent agenda. 4.01, approval of the minutes of the May 11th, 2022 board meeting. It is recommended that the minutes of the May 11th, 2022 board meeting be approved as presented. 4.02, approval of the minutes of the May 2022 executive sessions. It is recommended that the minutes of the May 12th and 13th, 2022 executive sessions of the board be approved as presented. 4.03, approval of bill warrants and payroll. It is recommended that the board approve payments of the bill warrants and payroll in the amount of $2,174,506.78 from the appropriate funds. 4.04, approval of the April financial report. It is recommended that the board approve the April 2022 financial report as presented. 4.05, acceptance of donations. It is recommended that the board accept the donations as listed and documented. 4.06, approval of the overnight extended field trips. It is recommended that the board approve the extended field trips as listed and documented. 4.07, approval of the consent agenda. It is recommended that the Board of School Trustees approve the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. If there are any questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. 5, vision initiatives. 5.01, planning for preferred future of educational excellence. Mr. Barker.
Thank you, President Parks. The High Priority Facility Needs Work Group met last week on Tuesday, May 17th. We actually met at Hums Elementary School and toured that building. We were fortunate enough to have Principal Yohe and teacher Mrs. Douse there to guide those tours and kind of learn how the facility impacts their school day. And so that was very helpful, I think, to the committee. Dr. Staley then put us into our individual committees that comprise all of the different facilities, schools that we have across the School City of Mishawaka buildings. And we worked in groups for a while, and then our next meeting in June, those individual groups are going to actually be going to some of the buildings that they serve on their committees. So the committee that would have Battelle may visit Battelle in June. So they'll continue to learn more about each of our spaces, and we look forward to that work continuing. The Community Collaborating Committee also met last week, and they met on Thursday, May 19th. They had a very good conversation regarding possible operating referendum here for us at School City that we're potentially targeting in May of 2023. And they hope to have a recommendation possibly in July to the board and to soon-to-be-named Superintendent Stevens regarding legislative remedy for the operations fund. In addition, they will potentially have a recommendation for all of you regarding the revenue enhancement strategies regarding attract and retain students. And it'd be a good time to mention to you, at our June 8th school board meeting, we intend to have a work session prior to that meeting so that you can hear the same presentation that Dr. Hickel presented to them 2 meetings ago, to learn about where we're at in enrollment, to take a look at our resident, non-resident, and overall enrollment that we have here at School City. So we plan to come back on June 8th and have a 5 o'clock work session, and that will then be followed by our 6 o'clock regular public school board meeting.
Thank you. 6, reports and discussion items. 6.01, April financial statements and monthly comparisons. Mr. Newman is not here.
We'll just move those to the next meeting in June and have him do them at that time.
Okay. 7, human resources. 7.01, personnel report. Mr. Caldroni.
Thank you, President Parks. Before I make my recommendation, I just want to make sure you guys are all aware that there was a late addition in 7.0.3 on the personnel report this evening. But at this time, I would like to recommend that the Board of School Trustees approve the personnel report dated May 25th, 2022, as presented.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Jerome. 7.02, pending superintendent change. Mr. Barker.
As we reported last week, I intend to resign as School City of Mishawaka Superintendent of Schools on Wednesday, June 8th at our regularly scheduled public school board meeting, and that would be effective on June 30th. This was, and quite honestly still is, a very difficult decision. And it's been my goal throughout this entire process to try to communicate with President Parks through all of you, and even the Board of School Trustees at the other district, so that we could all kind of be on the same page so that both districts could do what was in the best interest of their districts. This is not a standard practice. Typically, those names are kept confidential until the very end. But I think this has been good, especially for School City, to be prepared for the potential change and formulate a plan for replacement to maintain the stability of the district and also maintain the positive momentum I think that we have here. So as was also reported last week, Dr. Theodore Stevens has been identified as the candidate to lead School City as superintendent going forward. This will be Dr. Stevens' second stint with School City after previously serving as principal at LaSalle and assistant superintendent here at the Ad Center. It's my goal to assist him in any way that I can. Certainly, I want the district to continue to have as much success as possible. And while I didn't know Dr. Stevens very well until this process started, I've gotten to know him much better over the last few weeks. And we talk a lot, and I appreciate him and am confident he's going to do a great job here going forward. So I'll continue to stay in touch with him, and we'll coordinate things so that he can come in and meet with the team here as much as he can, so that when he actually starts officially on July 1st, he has the best chance for success. But I'm sure he will be here much before that. So we've established a timeline. May 22nd, we released the details of his contract to the public. On June 2nd at 2 p.m., we are scheduled for a public meeting here for the board to receive public comment regarding that contract. And then on June 8th, at our regularly scheduled meeting, will be the night that I would offer my resignation. And then on June 9th, 1 week following that hearing about his contract at 2 p.m., you'll have a short meeting to officially vote to approve that contract at the same time of 2 o'clock. Okay, so that's the process we've laid out. I appreciate the way we've been able to work through this together, and I do think it will be a very timely way to be able to accept a resignation and name a superintendent the following day. And I think that's certainly in the best interest. So I appreciate working with all of you throughout that. Certainly in the best interest. So I appreciate working with all of you throughout that. and I'll have maybe more to say at the next meeting, but I do appreciate all of you, and we'll talk more about it at the June 8th meeting.
Well, I would like to say that I appreciate the time that we've spent together. I appreciate the community involvement, the engagement with our teachers and our staff. And again, we will talk more on June 8th and time in between. But I also appreciate your help and your guidance where we are today, that we were able to move in a clear path to get where we are. So thank you. 8, curriculum and instruction and technology. 9, business and operations. 9.01, recommendation to approve the purchase of replacement teacher Chromebooks. Mr. Modlin.
Thank you, President Parks. I wanted to take a moment before we do the agenda item to kind of go over how we selected the devices that we'll have on this. So we looked at, through our technology committee, made up by stakeholders from around the district, to identify some key needs and key components of our technology plan moving forward. Customer experience and specifically a governance process is a component of that. So we're going to talk a little bit about our pilot of that governance process, and then the rest of the tech plan will be presented and reviewed by the Community Collaborating Committee, and then presented and shared with the board later on this summer. The governance process is a process which stakeholders provide feedback and guidance on information technology. We'll start by getting direction and objectives from the committee and from our stakeholders, then move on to IT execution of those objectives, and then measure performance. So the way that we did it this time was to provide direction. We collected feedback via a survey. We took some sample devices around to each building and had teachers get some hands-on time with them and provide us feedback in that survey, and also one-on-one in visits with them. Once we did that, we went back to the technology committee. I shared with them the results of the survey and a recommendation of moving forward on a purchase. And we will purchase the technology with approval tonight, and then move forward with an appointment-based distribution that allows teachers to schedule their time, so when they're ready to make that shift from their older device to their new device, they'll have time to get their files off, and we'll have some one-on-one service opportunities for them to help with that. Once we get all this rolled out, we'll measure performance. We have our ticket analytics, and identify any issues or themes to issues and address them as needed, and then use that to make decisions moving forward on those items. So some of the items that came up throughout the survey was devices or technology most used was the teacher and student Chromebook, screen sharing the teacher computer to the TV, using a document camera. Mildly used was using the Chromebook specifically as a document camera, and least used was using the iPad as a document camera or annotation tool. When we looked at what was super important in the decision-making process, they were highly involved in and highly interested in having mobility, having a stylus or annotation tool for the Chromebook or device, and also a second monitor. So tonight we're looking at a sound bar to provide consistent audio experience, and this was demonstrated to teachers and identified really through our ticketing process and listening to teachers say, we have an inconsistent audio experience through our TVs. We have some TVs that were they're digital signage, they didn't have really great speakers in them, and we have some TVs that have a little bit better speakers in them, but we wanted to provide a consistent experience from classroom to classroom. So we're looking at providing this sound bar to them to get that consistency. We're looking at adding a second monitor to plug into their Chromebooks. With the amount of technology integration in the classroom now, teachers are doing a lot more on their computer, and they need a little bit more space to do that, virtual space to manage all of that and do presentations. So this will allow them to do grades and attendance and other clerical type of duties that they need to do as a part of their job, but also allow them to have presentations going at the same time. It gives them more space to do stuff. And then the elementary teacher Chromebook would be a flip back to a tablet. It's very similar to what we have in our middle school and high school, with the addition of an embedded stylus. So on the right-hand side here, there's a stylus that they can slide out. It self-stores, self-charges, and they can pull that out when they need to do annotations. So all this was based upon the feedback that we received through the survey, those one-on-one conversations through focus groups, and I'd like to recommend that the board approve the purchase of these items as presented.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
Go
ahead.
My only comment is I just want to thank Mr. Modlin. He's done an incredible job as our Director of Technology, and when you think about where we were and a pandemic hitting and where our technology is today, it really wasn't a fair situation for anyone in a role like he had, and we've done very, very well, and it's part the buy-in that we've been able to get from staff. And Mr. Mott, I just can't thank you enough. Thank you for all your work.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Matt. 10, policy updates, nothing. 11, communications. 11.01, public announcements. Mishawaka High School graduation is taking place on Thursday, June 2nd, 2022 at 6 p.m. at the Cave. There will be a public hearing at School City of Mishawaka Board of School Trustees at 2 p.m. on June 2nd, 2022 to discuss the superintendent's contract. The next meeting of SEM Board of School Trustees is June 8th, 2022 at 6 o'clock at the Administration Center. Prior to this meeting, there will be a public work session at 5 p.m. to discuss the SEM revenue enhancement strategies to attract and retain all students. If there's nothing else that comes before this board, this meeting is adjourned.
Did you sign the folders?
No, I did not sign the folder.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, I think she's got the folder stuff. We didn't sign.
I'm telling you, I asked